Hello everyone, welcome to a vehicle simulator video. If you've seen anything on Jesse Gillette's channel recently, you will know what this game is. I have it now, and I have some mods for it. I have one, and we're going to be going over one of them today. And it's going to be, so we're going to go new. Of course, I've had to record this video a couple times because I can't seem to figure out how I want to... I can't seem to get a good recording, but hopefully this one works. And here we go. Yeah, this takes a while to load. It's a little bit annoying, but it works. It does. Don't know what that noise is. Shouldn't be a problem. So what we're gonna do... and then we just put the throttle up, go over to the other telegraph, put the other up, and just like that, we're moving. Should be anyway. Yeah, alright. I think you can hear me over that, I hope you can. So yeah, no, Bridge Wing review. Okay, so really quickly, this is the Wilhelm Gustloff by beaut. It is a really fancy liner. Built by Germany, and it was built by Germany in the 1930s. During that time, during that time, the ship was used as a hospital ship and was sunk in the Second World War. More on all of that stuff later. So this is the ship in its original, coloring and stuff. The funnel is yellow. Looks kind of ugly. And yeah, this is the one we're going to be using to go over the passenger interior. And we're going to do that now. So moving into the officer's quarters. So we're going to start... So, yeah. We start here on the bridge. You know what, I'm actually going to turn that down a little bit just in case. Alright, so we're starting here on the command deck, the bridge. You go out to your bridge wings, do all that stuff. Heading aft, this appears to be the navigational room. This is where all that stuff is done. We've got deck plans for the ship itself. And we've got this light switch here. Or is there a light switch out in the bridge? I don't know. Going this way, we have a office for the captain and his bedroom over here. We head this way. Through this door, we've got the officers' quarters, the main officers' quarters. And then exit out onto the deck. We head super far aft and go through this door. We have a sort of passenger area actually, which has the inquiry office, sitting area for the inquiry office, and a radio room. If we head further aft, I believe it just leads out on deck. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, animated passengers, by the way. This is what this comes with. But yeah, and there you can see them kind of dancing over there. I'll more on that later. It's going to be a theme in this episode. More on that later. So going into here, we have a staircase that leads us down into the main staircase. Now I do have to at least acknowledge that the ship was built by the Nazis. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of that. A lot of that. So if we head out, so yeah, no, this is like a lounge area for the Gustloff. We head aft, we got staircase with a nice picture of he who shall not be named. We have the gymnasium, and then we head further aft out onto deck. There's no more interior, but there are dancing people. I don't know how they got here. I didn't stop at any ports or anything, they just kind of are. We just ignore them. So we're gonna head forward really quick. Through the gymnasium, into the staircase, and we're gonna head down really quickly to the boat deck, actually, with all the lifeboats and whatnot. We're gonna head forward. Forward is just cabins. Aft is just cabins. This is a cabin deck. And it is pretty awful. Like, this deck is very drawn out, but there is stuff back here. We have a sitting area, we've got a staircase that goes down, and then all the way back here, we have an exit out onto the back deck, onto one of the back decks. Heading back forward. We go down. And back this way we have like a lounge. I believe these are a part of the same room, because I don't know what else to believe. Man, we head forward. We've got like a picture room. We have a kind of cafe. We have like a reading and writing room or a children's playroom or something like that. We have, this is probably the reading and writing room. And then we've got, this, and then we have, we have like a reading lounge. Probably for the officers. And then we have the smoking, what I believe to be the smoking room. With a picture of he who shall not be named. And then, yeah, all of these have exits to the promenade, which looks like this. Heading forward, heading aft again, to this staircase, to this room. We go down to A deck. We've got, we're gonna start by going aft. We have the dining room. Just go further aft. We have like a kind of prep room kind of thing. And then another a smaller dining area. And then heading further aft, a whole lot of like rooms and stuff. Now there is like a lounge area, but it doesn't have any doors to it or anything on this side. So I think this is a crew lounge, but you can get. But there is this staircase here, and you can get to it from here. Heading down onto B deck, we have. There's nothing aft of this point, so we are just gonna head forward. They have an open door, they have cabins, all that stuff. They have a barber shop, actually, or a hair salon or something. And if you watch Salmonella's video on obscure and unused inventions, I'm pretty sure this is the beauty micrometer thing they would use to measure face and stuff. This is the main staircase, heading forward, because there is stuff forward, a whole lot of stuff. So if you head forward, there's just like cabins upon cabins upon cabins, and then you reach this area. This is a staircase. The main staircase, I think, that we've been using. Like, yeah. Oh yeah, you can do this in this game, by the way. That's real trippy. But yeah, no, if we continue to... Oh wait, we're on B deck now. Hold on, we're gonna go up to A deck briefly. Because if you keep heading forward, there is stuff. If you keep heading forward. And you have to just kind of keep going. And then you hit this, like, promenade area. That's gonna be it for this area for now. If we head aft and down, we get to B deck, which has a staircase here that leads into a nice long hallway that leads nowhere. And then we have this area here. There's a whole lot of stuff that just seems to lead nowhere. We have a staircase here, and this is actually the staircase that starts right here. It is also important to note that if you go up this staircase, you end up on the bow, but that's not important right now. So if we go down this staircase, you know, there is a door here. I believe that's B deck. Yes. So we're gonna head down another deck via this one. And we just have like a kind of crew area. Then we have all this stuff, which leads into there. Where this stuff, it continues to go forward. There's nothing really this way, but there is a staircase back here. We will go down there, just not right now. If we go down this passenger hallway and just keep going, we eventually come to the staircase for C deck. If that keeps going down, keep that in mind. And then this area. Now, all of this stuff is the stuff on the other side is crew. This is kind of like E deck, although instead of crew and third class, it's just crew. We have this staircase, which actually does continue down. Ooh, what's down here? Nothing, actually. Alright, let's just make double sure that there's nothing down here. The ship does confuse me sometimes, but... Oh. So yeah, no. Heading further aft, we come to the bottom floor of this staircase, and then I don't believe there's anything aft of this hallway. So we're gonna head forward, and we're actually gonna take the crew hallway this time. We're gonna start at the very front of the ship. We're gonna actually, no. We're gonna finish up the passenger areas first by going through here. And we're gonna go all the way to the staircase, and we're gonna go down. And this is where I think the camera starts to get a little buggy. So we can't really go anywhere, it's all crew stuff. But we can go down. And yeah, this is where it gets buggy because we're hitting the water line. This is the pool for the Wilhelm Gustloff. If we head up on D deck, go through here, go forward from here, just kind of around, not really much up here. You go this way, there's a crew stuff thing that's been left open actually. It's nowhere. If we head down it, we hit E deck. And then, if we keep going down, there's crew, a whole bunch of crew stuff. And we hit this like pump room or something. And if we head this way, we reach the main engines, which are animated and super cool. Like, you can see pistons pumping and doing their thing, powering the ship and pushing it forward. I love that about this model. Like, this is his best model yet, and I'm excited to see what he does next and all that, but yeah, no, look at that. And if we head up, we can actually come to this, like, fan room up here. And then, yeah, there's all this stuff. So I think we've seen almost everything. There is a little bit more. Like, if we head back into the engine room, head through here, there's this staircase here. And it leads here. It leads to this staircase, which going forward leads here. Oh, that leads nowhere. I know there's like a through hallway somewhere. Actually, let's get to the pool, because I know... Oh yeah, because the pool kind of connects to all the forward crew stuff. So we're going to head to D-deck, head forward, head down. Here's the pool. We head back here. There's like a air conditioning room here. And then we have a dining area that I like to call the propaganda room, because there is propaganda everywhere you look. You can't escape it. It's kind of annoying when you're just trying to explore casually. I feel like one of these doors should lead somewhere. Yeah, this one. We head up here, and that takes us to here. And then if we head back, and if we head further up to C deck, we can head over here, and there's a nice staircase over here. And this leads to all of this stuff. Like, it leads here. And if we head forward, we briefly looked in here. And then if we go down here, we end up in, like, the officers' canteen, or some crew members' cafeteria area. And then, yeah, we have the staircase here to connect it all. So, yeah, this ship is very confusing. But it is pretty. Like, we go W and set the time to night. Like, look at this. Let's just let it sail past for a moment. Now, the yellow funnel, it's not the best. It does not look good on the Gustloff. I think it looks better with a light funnel. And that is actually the next model we're going to take a look at to explore most of the exterior. But first, we get the this beautiful sail-by shot at night. Just showing the vessel in all of its Nazi glory. It's like, I want to like this vessel, I really do, but the whole Nazi thing is just, it's so awful. And then, yeah, there she goes. So if we go back aboard, we're gonna load in another model. Yeah, no. Voila! It is magically switched from a yellow funnel to a white funnel, which is really the only major difference. This change was actually made a year later. The one that you saw was 1938. This is 1939, and this is the model we're going to be using to be exploring the exterior of the passenger ship, of the passenger vessel. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it. We're going to set it to sunrise. Just to kind of show what that looks like. And then, this is what the ship looks like in midday. And we're actually gonna start from here. Now this is above the command deck. This is above where the bridge and stuff is. We have this top area up here. It has the compass tower, stuff like that. Going down, we have the bridge wings, the bridge itself, and we have a nice little promenade just kind of wrapping around everything. It is a little bit annoying to navigate, but... And then going further down, we have the sun deck with all of its chairs and stuff. Its various chairs. If we go down, we have the boat deck. And then we have the back after sun deck, and then the promenade, which we're going to use really quickly. I have to frantically scroll my mouse wheel, but it's a lot faster than the alternative, which is really all I need after trying to explore the ship using that. The first one I was using the number pad, and it is super slow when you do that, so... Going through here, we have the bow, we have cranes and all that. We head down, we've got this area. Hey, we've been here before. And we're gonna head up, and we're gonna head back aft, but this time we're gonna take the boat deck. Because there's a staircase from here to the boat deck. We're just gonna head down. And we reach the back deck pretty quickly. And we go down again. There's another kind of sun deck-like area. And if you go down one more time, you reach the poop deck with an anchor, actually. An anchor chain and all that stuff. So yeah. So yeah, this is what the ship looked like for a good while. This is how I think it looked best. Minus that. That could go away. That would be nice. But I do think an all-white paint scheme really does fit the vessel. So that's actually about all for the whole cruise era of its life. You see, not long after, the ship was switched to a hospital ship for the war effort. Let's look at that. And, so yeah, the ship was switched to a hospital ship. I don't exactly remember when. This is kind of the area where it gets a little fuzzy on most of the timeline stuff, but so the ship was turned into a hospital ship. It was docked for years. I think like literal years while and this was during the time that, you know, war was happening. More importantly, I guess, is that at this point in the war, Germany is winning. They start doing a lot of stuff. Namely, they start to invade Russia. And that ends up being a massive mistake. So this is what the ship looks like as a hospital ship. Got a nice green band wrapping around it. It's pretty. Now, we're going to go over the passenger interiors. We're not going to really focus on all the other stuff because it doesn't really change. Like, most of this stuff doesn't change. Like, I'm just, like, this is my example. It's all the crew interior stuff. Yeah, that all stays the same. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to go forward. See, the gym doesn't change, and I find that weird. But what does change on this deck is this. Instead of a beautifully decorated kind of palm court thing, we have beds. Hospital bed. We have a whole lot of beds. And you're going to notice that. It's going to be kind of hard not to, honestly. Going down here. Dining area. This is now a dining area rather than a smoking lounge. And these are beds. It's beds from the stem to stern. And then dining areas, and then beds. And then emergency beds, like this is the ward and stuff. And all of this stuff, the promenade is now beds, like the Britannic. And this was used to treat wounded German soldiers. Shame that they were really on the wrong side of history. But yeah, no, this is where most of them went. Now, something that doesn't change that I find interesting is that this is still the same. But this is kind of like a pit stop on the way down. Now, I am going to check something on this exploration. Is on B deck, you remember the barber shop. I want to see if that changes. If that changed. I think it was on B deck? Was it not? No, it was on C deck. No? It's closed in this one. So we can't access it, I don't think. Yeah. Okay, so we can't really access it on this version, but I'm pretty sure the beauty salon would have changed. And we're going to go back to the main staircase, and we're going to go down one more. Or two more, rather. Because the pool did change as well. Now it's beds. Everything's beds. They've removed all the nice stuff. It's now beds and chairs and tables. But yeah, no. That is what they've done with everything. Now we're gonna switch over again. I know this is going pretty quickly, but we're kind of to the point where we're not exactly just exploring the ship, hanging around. And we're gonna switch over to the very last 1944, because you know 1940. I'm pretty sure is when this happened, and so it was like that for 4 years, docked up. It did not move during that time. It did not move once, maybe like twice, or well, maybe not. It moved a couple times, but it barely moved. It did not move very much at all. And this is the last version of the ship. This is the version that, unfortunately, it would be sunk during. And we're gonna do that once this all loads. We're gonna quickly throttle up. Oh, come on, just grab the thing. Why not walk up here and do it? So, set the throttles to full. And so yeah, everything is gray now. And the one thing that did change from the HS to this version is that the promenade no longer has beds in it. But everything else is still tables and beds and a hospital ward and stuff like that. So one thing that is very interesting that changed is, and you're going to see it very, very soon, is that they got rid of all their sun chairs and replaced them with lifeboats. And it's the same, and they also added an artillery perch up here. And now, instead of like sunbeds and stuff, this is all cradles for lifeboats. And it's kind of sad just how little of a role was played during this thing, but you know, they were there. We have guns, a bunch of AA guns, particularly, like on top of the command deck. Like, this is where this would normally go, and you'd just be able to see here. But they've rendered this compass almost completely immediate. Well, you can stand here. But it's very uncomfortable to use this thing now. Because now they've added all these, like, all this stuff to keep the ship safe. Now, the ship was docked. Now this happened because Germany was losing the war. And they were losing Russia fast. And Russian vengeance is not pretty. So, and the Germans can't evacuate their people by land, so they have to do it by sea. And this is where Operation Hannibal comes in. In Operation Hannibal, they needed to evacuate literal, like, thousands of people out of the ship, out by sea, because they couldn't, because if they were to try to do it, because they couldn't go by land. It was all blocked off, so they basically attempted a Dunkirk. And it worked, for the most part. One of the ships they brought in to do it was the Wilhelm Gustloff. It was retrofitted like this. And oh yeah. Here, actually, hold on. I know it's a little bit weird that it doesn't have, like, sound or anything, but check this out. So yeah, no, the ship, so they retrofitted it for basically for war service. And in the end, what ended up happening, they started boarding at an evacuation point. Well, people panicked, one way or another. The ship wound up loaded. Now, the ship is designed for 2,000 people. And the ship wound up loaded with 10,000. 10,000 people crammed onto the ship. And, you know, we're gonna make the weather a little more appropriate. With snow. And this snow, because it's the Baltic, and it is cold in the Baltic, the coldest ocean in the world, and so they have to kind of cram everyone inside, into those cramped conditions, and they're telling everyone, well, wear your life jackets, wear your life jackets. 10,000 people cramped into a tiny ship. It's very hot in there, and most people don't wear their life jackets. They take them off. Well, during the night, and we're actually going to go... Now, this is what the ship would have looked like for the most part. It would not have had any lights on or anything to go dark. But they got information that there was another ship coming their way. And so, okay, actually, we're going to rewind a bit. Due to the circumstances of the voyage, the ship has 3 captains aboard. Only one is technically in command, but there are 2 others who basically have the same amount of power. And they come to a decision to go, and they have to decide whether to go on a deeper route or a shallower route. The shallower route may have sea mines. That's a very big problem with the shallow route. But the shallow route, but submarines can't operate in the shallow route. There's a deeper route, however, where submarines can operate, but where submarines, yes, they can operate, but there are no mines. It's clear. So they choose, because it's a gale. Like, this is a little bit of this is a really not a good representation of what the weather conditions were like, because there was actually, like, it was getting worse. Like, we'll put it to here. We'll just 4 feet. And it was a worsening gale. So they chose the deeper route because, I mean, who would honestly operate a submarine in those conditions? Well, the captain of S-13 would. And he was, actually. So it ended up happening, and we're gonna have to load in one last vehicle here. Bear with me. This one loads in much faster. But, you see, so they turn their lights on, and so now we have S-13 out in the ocean. We have Wilhelm Gustloff out in the ocean, and now just before their radar freezes, they get word that there is a chance that they are heading straight for a couple tankers. So, to prevent a collision, they turn some of their running lights on. Namely, these guys and these guys. To make them visible to this friendly ship. Well, that happens. They are visible, and S-13 spots them and kind of trails them for a bit. And then torpedoes the ship 3 times. And this happened. And this is a recreation of the moments that followed. Oh, right. This animation has a few like broken angles. So lifeboats start launching. The ship is still moving. Now the first one hits the bow and locks all the people who are supposed to be manning the boats below deck. The second explosion hits the pool and basically drowns everyone in there. The third explosion hits the engine room and knocks out the lights. So the lights are already out by this point that you're seeing, but they're not on the sinking for some reason. So yeah, lifeboats are launching, leaving the ship, and some of them upend. They get about 6 boats off, and then the davits freeze. These are all frozen in place now. You cannot lower anything else from them. And they have to like hack away at them and cut away at the ice to open them. And people are panicking for obvious reasons. And there are, and the stairwells, not designed for this many people, rushing to the boat deck, become bottlenecks. So a bunch of other people are trapped below deck. Passengers are trapped below deck. Keep in mind that most of these 10,000 people are refugees, who are not soldiers or anything. There are some, but most of them are not. And so they're all racing to the boat deck. Anyone who falls or anything gets trampled. And now a bunch of people are trapped in the promenade as well because they expected to open the windows and found out that they were bulletproof. And ooh, that's actually interesting. You can see the outline. But yeah, no. So the ship is now rapidly sinking at this point. The ship in real life, the ship took like an hour to sink. Oh yeah, and the lifeboats are sliding off their cradles. I have not really been showing that, but I will later. Because there is an interesting bug I found with these, or feature, I should say. But yeah, no. So people are getting trampled. It's pretty awful. Now, the power should have been off from the beginning, but it turns off now for some reason. That actually probably is when the emergency lights turned off. So how I would show that is like Nah, I'm not gonna really critique this because this is a really good model for. I believe this is the best one of the Wilhelm Gustloff that we have. But so the bridge floods, all this stuff is happening. So people are trapped in the promenades at this point. People are really trapped everywhere in the ship. Anywhere that there's air, there is probably some people. And people are like really starting to panic. Well, no, they have been panicking. There's really nothing changing. It's just panic, panic, panic. And the ship begins to dive. The ship really begins to dive at this point. Because this is about when the final plunge starts happening. And so the ship drops quickly by the bow. You can see it's going under pretty fast here. Water reaches the funnel. And everything is getting pulled underwater. And the ship begins to lift up into the air. People are getting dumped into the ocean. And yeah, keep in mind that there's still people trapped up in here. So a couple thousand at least probably. And so they're all getting stuck here. And imagine being right here. This is the worst place to be. So the ship goes is sinking. Lifeboats are just sliding around. Most of them don't float for some reason. And the torpedo boat Low is kind of stopped back there and is rescuing as many as it can, but it can't rescue too many because it's not a particularly large ship. The Low was the escort ship for the Gustloff. So we have these lifeboats. They're all left here, and the Low is kind of helping. It's doing its best. Picks up about 1,000 people. Now, the Wilhelm Gustloff had 10,000 on it. 9,000 people died on this ship alone, making it single-handedly the deadliest to ever happen. Now, with that out of the way, with that those horrifying facts out of the way, let's check out a kind of cool thing. So, you may notice the ship reset. So, when I was recording, I tried to hit Control A to do it again while we just watched. Well, it plays the animation in reverse, which I find actually kind of awesome. So we're just gonna get to watch the glory of that as the ship comes out of the water and saves couple thousand people who are just randomly here. So yeah, this was, in all seriousness, like, I do think that this ship should be more remembered. And the reason, but it makes sense that it isn't. Because, and we have mentioned this several times, the ship was owned by some pretty awful people who did very awful things. I.e. the Nazis and the Holocaust and all that. So yeah, this ship is not well remembered. It's pretty well documented. There are like pictures and stuff you can find of it online and of the interior and stuff. But because of its ownership, not many people really consider this to be a important ship. Even despite the aforementioned 9,000 people who all died very horrifying deaths. And most of them froze. Like, they didn't even have time to drown or anything. They just died of hypothermia. Because the Baltic Ocean, as aforementioned, is the coldest. And I'm pretty sure it was, like, well below freezing on the night that, like, the air was below freezing. So, just imagine the ocean. So I'm gonna take this point to showcase the awesome lifeboat animations, with all the cradles and stuff. So things are gonna start sliding back at some point. And you can see, actually, a couple lifeboats in the ocean. Like, here they go, they're turning now. And, there they go, back up, sliding back into place. And, yeah, I'm just gonna shut up and let you guys watch. Alex Beaut, if you're watching this, don't try to fix it. It's awesome. I love it. Alright, so there are the lifeboats. They're all back in their cradles and stuff. Now we're gonna watch that lifeboat, because that's the one that upends, and I think the animation for the upending thing is actually really cool. Now, a lot of these animations are awesome as the ship goes down. It's a really well thought out process. It's a little bit weird with the waves, the lifeboats, but it really does work with the ship. So there that is, just kind of hanging there. And as she goes back, oh, there goes that back onto, we can watch that get pulled in for a moment. There we go, that's about as far as we can push that before the ship just disappears. And there it goes. Whoop. I find that one kind of cool. But yeah, no, there's the Wilhelm Gustloff. This is available on Alex Beaut. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. It is $10 for this. But this is the Wilhelm Gustloff by Alex Beaut. Expect more stuff on this on Vehicle Simulator coming soon, because I have videos on the I have videos in the works, and by in the works I mean I just have the ship models on the Titanic, Olympic, Britannic, and Lusitania, as well as this ship here that you have just witnessed. So yeah, that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. You guys in the next one. Bye-bye!